Divine greetings, entities, energies, the lovelies, bodies of light, the seekers and sojourners of truth. 144, chosen of the chosen few. You all know who you are. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth, and this divine energy essence of it all, reporting to you live from nowhere other than 5D, dimension number 5, in the place to be. As usual, I'm here bringing you the news to infuse, if you so choose to infuse with the light on the light grid. And if not, you can always refuse. But remember, when you refuse, be prepared to be fried on the grid. And it's a whole lot of frying going on. All right, so Ashe. With that said, happy, whatever day this is for you, but I'm going to go ahead and call it Happy Jupiter Sun conjunction. And I know there are those who call it a Kazemi. That's not usual my language, so I didn't want to use something that's not my usual language. I know it's a conjunction, and it's a major conjunction at 3 degrees. So we're going to get into that. There's something that it's really highlighting. I want to break that down in a way where a lot of us understand what's going on energetically, cosmically speaking. What's the cosmic language? What does this mean to us where we are here? Before I do so, let me remind us, do a little housekeeping, sweep. First things first. First things first. Remember to like, subscribe, share, comment if you dare. If you don't have a comment, leave emojis, because all of that helps with the algorithms to help reach those in the remote places, as I said, that's looking for the lighthouse. So continue to light us up on the light grid, so we can be there for those who may need it, as well as hit that notification button. You know, that's another thing I usually forget to say. And also, secondly, the calendars are here. The calendars are here. I know the day that I debuted it at our solstice event was the day I came on and did a live, and just to share it, but it was kind of dark, so you couldn't see. But yes, the calendar, the 5D calendar, our second 5D calendar is here. So for those of you who have been waiting, it is finally here. Those of you who have already been donating, have donated, and you are on the list to receive yours, you will be getting yours. You may need to send me your address. So if you have donated and you know who you are, please email me at akilatextury@gmail.com, right? And I'll put the email in the link below, as they said, in the description below. So that's to let you know what's happening now. And look out for the root chakra. The 3-day root chakra workshop is going to be coming up next. Ashe. So with that said, let's get into this Jupiter Sun conjunction. Ooh, it's a goodie at 3 degrees, right? And 3 is a number that has kind of been, that actually spoke to me maybe 2 days ago when I jumped out of my meditative sleep and saw 1221, and I knew as I saw it that was 3-3, because 12 is 3, 21 is 3. So I saw the 3-3, and I'm like, okay, this 3-3 is saying something. So of course today it's at 3 degrees. The sun is at 3 degrees of Cancer. Jupiter is at 3 degrees of Cancer. And the moon is going to be joining them, as tomorrow is the new moon. So the new moon will be joining them at 3 degrees of Cancer. So there's this code of 3. And remembering that 3 is out of the 369, it is the first major portal, major dimensional portal of the 369 that is representing creative completion. So there is a creative completion, and as it is the first major portal, I would say it's opening, it's the beginning of in this creative completion, because remember, it takes 3 threes to make the 9 at the spiritual completion. So we're in the first set of 3. Kind of look at it like that. And I'll speak more about it as I get more insight about it. But from what I was shown, there's going to be a revisiting of this as we look at it. For those who follow the 369, there's going to be a 6 to look at, and that'll show that, you know, we're midway through, and that will be when Jupiter is at 6 possibly at about 6 degrees, as well as the moon would be meeting it again at 6 degrees, because the sun won't. By the time the sun comes back around next year, Jupiter is going to be ready to move into its next sign. So as I get more insight about that 369 aspect of it, I'll share that with you. But for now, let's focus on the 3. Right? So there is a creative completion. There's something that we are creating, and that is no secret. With everything that we're feeling right now, some of you are feeling some ascension symptoms. I did a little small snippet video on that. So with the summer solstice that we just had, right, today is also Miracle Day on the 5D calendar. For those of you who have the calendar, it's known as Miracle Day. And with this Jupiter Sun conjunction, some are actually looking at it like a day of miracles. So I was like, oh, look at that. Nothing is a coincidence on Miracle Day that they're looking at the day of miracles. And why I say Miracle Day is the solstice was on the 20th, right? And it's just like the winter and summer solstice is similar in the sense that it is about the stillness of the sun, right? So there's a stillness for 3 days, and then it begins moving, right? As it appears to be still, to us for 3 days. So the solstice hits on the 20th, and then you have the 3 days beyond that, which would have been the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, depending on, how you count it. So this would be the day it begins moving forward. So we have it on the calendar as, Miracle Day, the day that the sun is moving. And as it's in its stillness and the sun is at its heightened point, we are really getting intense light codes from the sun. And those light codes are streaming in, and the frequencies, it's like cranking up, turning up the heat. The frequencies are intensifying. And a lot of us are feeling it through our mind-body complex. So the nervous system is definitely being calibrated. So I'm not going to repeat that here because I did a little snippet about that, and I'll have that there so you can look at the nervous system calibrating. But just to give some perspective on what you may be feeling into this day, like leading into the Miracle Day, which is what this is, the solstice leading into the Miracle Day, and feeling all of what we're feeling. And with that, what it is highlighting to us cosmically with Jupiter and the sun, Jupiter entering into Cancer, as we have mentioned, is having to do with the family life, right? Let's look at the principalities of Cancer. Has to do with home life, the mother, maternal, the nurturer, right? And so what it's calling for is the healed nurturer. And this is what I really want to focus on, because this is speaking strongly to a lot of us. You may have been seeing major changes in your family dynamics, in your family, in your household, not just in your household, but this speaks to the lineage. This speaks specifically to the maternal lineage. And this is why I had spoken about the divine feminine energies before in another video. It is very important, and I'm going to reiterate that now because it is important for the rise of the divine feminine energies. There's a responsibility for the divine feminine energies, as Cancer represents the nurturer. The nurturing aspect are the feminine qualities, right? Does not mean that it is just female. When I say feminine energy, I'm not just talking about gender, right? Although it applies to it at some point, but mainly this is about the feminine energy in both genders, whether you're male or female. So even if you're looking at down your lineage through your father's line, you want to look at your father's mother. You want to go down the maternal lineage and her mother and her mother, and just continue looking down the maternal lineage. The women in the family, especially if you come from a family that has a lot of females in it, right? A lot of feminine energy. The feminine energy is really responsible right now for healing. And I like to be careful with the word healing because it's really revealing. You reveal to heal. There's nothing to be healed, only truth to be revealed. And then the healing will come. There is a lot of trauma that needs to be healed within the divine feminine, especially over all these years, right? A lot of people have been doing their work, right? A lot of women and men have been healing their feminine wounds over multiple lifetimes and down their lineage, and that is good, but it's asking for us to take another step. And I know a lot may be feeling tired. A lot of, especially women, may be feeling like they're tired of it, whether in the relationship, whether just motherhood, being a mother. You may be feeling like I'm tired of doing all of this, and you're at the brink, but now is when you push the hardest. It's kind of like when you're doing track and you're training. For those of you who have done track, which I have, so I know, they would say this is when you push the most, when you feel like you're tired. And I've done cross country. So when you feel like you're tired, that is when you really put on the speed. That is when you really push. Even if you're like lifting weights or you're training, and they'll say when you feel the burn, that is when you really need to push the most, right? And you've been working, you've been exercising, you've been doing it, so you really have it in you, right? It just feels like, oh, I'm just tired of this, right? So I say this because in a lot of, I'm saying this multiply across the board. This may be happening not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. As a matter of fact, it is definitely happening mentally and emotionally, where you're feeling burnt out. And I'm not saying burn yourself out. I'm saying feel the push, feel the stretch, and know that it just means it is time to really kick it up a notch. But first, take time to rest if you need to, right? Because as I said, with all these frequencies, a lot of us are getting hit with ascension symptoms. I'm talking to you now through the symptoms I've been feeling. And you can still kind of sense it. If those of you who are very keen, I'm pretty sure you can sense that there is something that I'm going through. I am feeling it in my body. You may be able to see it in my eyes or just in my auric field. But yes, I am one of those that are feeling it. So I'm not just telling you something that I am not experiencing myself as well. So it is time to really make that push. And even in my, let's say, darkest hour, which would have been Sunday, when it really felt the heaviest and I had an event to do to share the information and everything. But in that darkest hour, I decided to look in my lineage while I was laying down. Take the rest and lay down. But while you're there, do some meditating. Ask yourself certain important questions. Have a pen and a pad beside you to write down something in case something comes up. And I was able to go and ask deep into my maternal lineage, what is there that I need to see? Because I know that there's something there that needs to be healed, that needs to be unlocked. The feminine energy holds the codes. We are unlocking memories. The mitochondria is what is passed down through the feminine, the female gene, so to speak, that keeps the memories going. Memory is a quality of the feminine energy. Memory is a quality of the subconscious mind as the feminine energy, right? So even as a man, your feminine energy is your subconscious mind, and there are memories that need to be unlocked. So we definitely have to look at what is in our feminine, our female lineage, what in our mothers. As much as we love our mothers, we really need to be willing to look at the wounds that they have passed on to us, right? What is the wound that has been picked up that you may have saw even as a child, but you blindside, you put it behind you because your mother is your superhero, or you don't want to look at your mother in that way because she loves you and she cares about you. But we have to be willing to look at the wounds and how those wounds have affected us in our life, and then how we have passed down those wounds to our children, because in some way, shape, or form you have, right? Especially if you've seen in your maternal lineage, there's something there that you didn't like, which is what I was looking at. What is it that I didn't like and I said I would never do, but yet I found myself doing, onto my children, not in the same way. This is the thing. Don't look for it to look the same way. Just notice what that is. Be able to name it. There's a theme. Name that theme. And then take the spectacle off of the details of what your mother actually did to you, because you're not going to be doing it the same way to your children. You're not going to find it that way. So take off the details of how she did that thing to you, but only look at the theme. Whatever that theme is, now look at how you may have been showing up in that way towards your children, meaning you have unconsciously, subconsciously passed down this unhealed nurturing to your children. And a lot of times we don't see it because we still see it as nurturing, but there's a difference between healed nurturing and unhealed nurturing. And this is what the Jupiter in Cancer is going to be expanding for us. So as it has stepped into Cancer and we've seen the dynamic shift in our home life, in our familial, in our collective family life, it is for the better no matter how it feels. Things are coming up to show you that this needs to be addressed. Whether it's with your parent, your mother, your grandparents, your grandmothers, these are things that need to be addressed, right? And even if you can't address it with them, it is for you to recognize it, recognize it, and realize it with your real eye, so that you can hold yourself accountable for what you are now recognizing. See? Wisdom in the wind. Hold yourself accountable for what you are now recognizing in the lineage. In the lineage, so that you can put a stop to it. And to finish sharing my example, just to share with you what I was able to do, maybe this will be able to help someone, is once I pinpointed it and saw what it was that my mother had put on me through her unhealed nurturing, and it was something I said I would never do to my children. I looked at where it showed up, where I was doing it, which was to disregard your third eye and what you see. Like a lot of times, my mother, for example, would tell me that I'm too sensitive. She still kind of does it to this day. I'm too sensitive to things, and that would be a way to discredit what I see, because the third eye is the inner sense, and it is sensitivity. It is sensitive to things in the unseen realm. And to people who don't understand that, you appear to be too sensitive in the physical realm to them, because they don't comprehend that invisible realm that you're seeing in with the third eye. So they discredit what you're seeing intuitively. Essentially, it's discrediting your intuition. And so I was raised in that, which is why I, quenched it in childhood. I knew who I was spiritually, but there was nowhere to express it without being called too sensitive. And so realizing now that was something that was barring me down, and it was because of her unhealed wound. She did not know how to nurture that. So I saw where it showed up in where I would do it with my child, and not in the same way, but I realized I was not validating what she would see in her insight, right? So when she would bring things to me, because essentially she's so sensitive, she can feel what I feel. So she would feel me, and because I'm so busy being a mother, when you don't want to look at certain things, it's things that I'm not trying to, not that I want to ignore it, but I'm not dealing with it in that moment, which is a type of, ignoring it. It's a type of ignorance. And in that moment, she's feeling it, and she'll come to me endearingly, and I would kind of, resist, or kind of tell her, no, not right now, or I'm okay, everything's fine. And she would really be sensing it, like, so it's by me doing that, I'm not allowing her to validate her intuition. So essentially I'm doing the same thing. So I'm operating through unhealed nurturing. So I say that to say this: I recognized it so that I can make it right where I can make it right, which is with the next generation. Because for some of us, we won't be able to make it right with the previous generation because they don't want to hear it, and we can't force them to see things they don't want to see. So if you have the opportunity to make it right with your elders, great, perfect, do so, because it does help, because you help to change the dynamics when you can start with the matriarch of the family. In my case, I have come to realize that I am the new matriarch of my family. I am the great mother of my family, because the elders have forfeited that position. So I know it doesn't make sense to bring it to them. So to rectify it, I did it with my daughter. And I explained to her the outcome. I explained to her what happened with my mother and how it showed up in me with her, to identify it, and then to be able to have myself accountable, apologize to her so that she can feel that accountability. But it's not about the apology, it's mainly about the accountability. The accountability is the apology. So holding myself accountable and with her was able to, that helps break the mold. And now from this point forward, I am taking a step towards the healed nurturer. That's just one example of it, right? We may have layers where we need to be working on this. So I share that with you so you can have an example of what it may look like as a healed nurturer, to find those unhealed wounds, whatever they may be. And for a lot of women, it could also have to do with um, rape in the family, being molested in the family, because these are things that women carry as wounds and they do not talk about it, not with their daughters, not with their sons. And yes, it affects the sons as well, not just the daughters. But if they are carrying these wounds, these unhealed wounds, it affects the sons as well, even the way that they have nurtured their sons, because they haven't been healed nurturers. So even through the men, they have been either overly sheltering their men or not having them be accountable to be men. And this is why some women are in relationships with men who don't know how to be accountable, or because of their mothers mothering them a certain way, it's making it difficult for you to have this relationship with them because they come from an unhealed nurturer and it has affected them. And so I say all that to say this: while we are working on this feminine energy, this healed nurturer, when we do that, we release the healed nurturer. We allow her to be renewed. When I say release, we lease again. We renew the lease on the healed nurturer. We unlock the memory codes that are blocking our masculine energy to create. See, there's the creative completion now, the three. The create, create, create. How are we going to create? By unlocking the memory codes, by healing, by having a revealing to healing in the feminine lineage amongst the women in the family. And yes, it's going to take a lot of coming together, even as the women may feel tired. It's going to take a lot of more effort to help free the masculine energy. The masculine energy is at a block right now because of this unhealed feminine energy that is holding those memory codes. The moment you heal, you come from a healed nurturer perspective, we are unlocking many blocks. We are unlocking many memory codes, allowing the free flowing, allowing the mitochondria to really free the lineage, not only for the future, but we are opening the channels from our ancient bloodline, deep within the ancient bloodline, our ancient gifts that are making its way through in our bloodline as we activate our DNA, as we ascend, as we do our soul ascension and our DNA activation. There's for a lot of us, we've been doing the work, and some of us may have felt this kind of blockage or this kind of stop. That's the masculine energy, because the masculine energy creates. So in the creative completion, there's been some kind of blockage because we need some more of this receptivity. We need some more of this feminine energy, the receptive activity, to be in this motion, this momentum of nurtured healing. And I guarantee you, when we work through this, it's going to open the doorways, right? So why it's important with the sun, because for those who don't know, the sun represents our outer world and the moon our inner world. So right now, as it comes into a conjunction with the sun, it's bringing all of this to the outer world. What you've already been feeling in the past week since Jupiter entered into Cancer, a lot of us have been feeling it, but maybe it wasn't so visible. Maybe you noticed it, but not really. But when the sun hits Cancer, it really brings it into visibility. It brings it into our outer world. It brings what Jupiter is doing in Cancer into the outer world, right? And even more intensely on a day like today when they are at an exact conjunct. So if you haven't already done so, please do any form of meditation that you can. Go in the stillness, go within, because with this conjunction, it is very intense, it is very exact. You will get the answers that you're looking for about this family lineage, about this home life. What is it that is coming up that you probably wasn't really paying attention to? It's in your face now. Like the sun is like, bam, here I am. It's being brought to the outer world. You simply have to allow yourself to be willing to see it. So in your meditation, in your deep thought, allow yourself, open the receptive doors and allow yourself to be able to hear this, feel this, embrace this on Miracle Day. This is where the sun is. The sun is moving forward. The solar is moving forward. This has a lot to do also with the solar plexus. You may want to do some solar plexus work because a lot also is being, this has to do with the identity body, and some may be finding it hard as we're acclimating to these energies. This is a new true identity, and this is part of our identity. So allowing your solar plexus to be bold, courageous, right? The solar plexus has to do with confidence. So do some solar plexus activation, eat some solar plexus foods. I'm getting tongue tied. Eat foods that activate the solar plexus. Wear yellow, right? There's a lot that wants to distract us right now. That's what I'm getting, because I just heard noise going that way, noise going the other way. There's a lot that wants to distract you on the external, but let that not be the focus, okay? As the sun brings it to the outer world, yes, you're going to see things in the external, but bring it right back in. Because what do we have tomorrow? The new moon. And so on the new moon is the inner world. So this is where I like to call it the transcend dance between the sun and the moon. This is where they're going to kiss and make up. They're going to bring it together. When they're in opposition, they're highlighting the differences. They're highlighting what needs to be balanced, the opposition of the moon and the sun. But when they come together and they're in alignment, I call it kiss and make up, because this is where they're bringing that together. So this new moon is bringing it even in your inner world, is your deepest emotional aspect. So that's going to come into alignment as well, again at 3 degrees. So it's helping the dimensional portal of 3 of creative completion if we allow it. So allow that moon is our feminine energy. So allow the feminine energy to be in alignment with this masculine energy of the sun that is already bringing it to us today on Miracle Day. As the sun is now moving, it's coming out of its solstice, out of its stillness, and it's saying, here, look at this. Take a look at me now. That's what I'm hearing. So take a look at me now. All right, so brace for it. Get the rest. I know I'm going to go in and get some more rest because, as I said, I'm still feeling it. It took a lot for me to get out of these sheets. Like, I literally have to have my skin covered. It's hypersensitive right now. So I'm doing my best to give you what I can faithfully. This was able to share. I wanted to make sure I get this information to you today, tonight, even if it's a late night, you'll have it. Some of you may not see it till tomorrow, but that's okay. Ashe. Is there anything else for us to look into? I feel like there's something I'm leaving out, but it'll just come back. We're going to talk some more. I'm going to continue to talk about this feminine energy because there's so many levels and layers to it. Remember, it's not just in your home, and it's not just with women, but it's for men. I would like for men to take this seriously as well. Look at your relationship with your mothers. Look at your relationship with your sisters. Look at your lineage. Look at your maternal lineage, your grandmothers. Look at what has been passed down and how it has even affected your father, because that unhealed nurturer has also affected your father in that way and affects you as well as a father. right? In your nurturing, because nurturing is your feminine energy as well. So remember, this is not just um, it's not just pinpointing to women, but the feminine energy. And as women, we are the physical example of this feminine energy. So we are held a little bit more responsibly for this. So yes, it's going to take the strengthening of the women in the family coming together and not berating one another. We need camaraderie with the feminine energy, and not beating down on the men either, but holding ourselves accountable for why the men are showing up the way that they are showing up, because they need us to be healed nurturers, to unlock the blocks that will free up the creativity. Essentially what's happening is, as I said, you can't do things without instructions, and they're waiting on the instructions. But we need to come from a healed place and perspective. They're waiting on the healed instructions, right? The energies are so intelligent that there's a block because of the unhealed nurturing. The energies are waiting on us to be healed, to open the flow, right? It's us working with the energies, and the energies working with us where we are. This is why you can't fake it. You can't fake the funk. It's waiting on us to be healed. The more of us that become healed nurturers, the more we open that receptive activity that gives the instructions, that allows the creative activity to do the divine's will, or to do what must needs be done. So that masculine energy is blocked because it's waiting on receptive instructions. And it's not just about us telling them what to do. It's about us being receptive to the energies and being healed. And in our healed nurturing, we're able to release instructions energetically, right? So it's not about telling anybody what to do, but it's being able to be a receptive conduit that allows the energy to flow through and gives the green light to the creative activity in our realm, which is the masculine energy. Ashe. So with that said, be prepared for this all year around. Jupiter being in Cancer, this is only the beginning. We've only just begun. It's only the beginning. So there's more that we're going to be feeling. So be prepared to be working with this Jupiter and Cancer theme all through the year. It is an expansion. Jupiter is expanding our opportunity to step into this healed nurturer that is amplifying the divine feminine energy to flow and allow the freeing up of the divine masculine, so that they can be in a divine sacred union. This is what's going to help elevate and create the harmony that we need. Ashe. So with that said, enjoy the miracle day, enjoy the new moon. I'll see if I can do something on it tomorrow, but enjoy the new moon energy, the conjunction with the sun and Jupiter at 3 degrees. Enjoy the creative completion of this 369 aspect as well, for those of you who are aware of that. And allow yourself to be in the stillness and get the answers that you need as you're meditating. Use this time wisely, as it is helping you to calibrate and get into the next timeline. Ashe. Ashe. With that said, each one reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out, and be the candle that lights the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Peace, love, and light.